just Lifestealer plus Bloodseeker is a very quick way to get into the fight. Where does Viking go
Yeah,
with this?
definitely. I think it makes a lot of sense, at least to me, this kind of what NIP are doing.
What does Viking need right now? I mean, like they don't. I
They need
don't
a
feel like they
carry.
have. Yeah, and they don't have a like a true frontliner right now either, right?
No, they do not. And they also have like they have no real way of killing this lifestealer. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I'm just kind of surprised by this Mirana pick here, because I feel like it doesn't really offer you anything in terms of like it doesn't really improve your draft that much, the way I see it at least.
Okay, I feel
Okay.
that's a little bit of improvement, right? Because right now I'm looking at Vikings draft after I see his Bloodseeker, and my biggest worry is like whenever you want to counter a Bloodseeker directly in these fights, you need a lineup that isn't afraid to stand their ground.
Hmm.
And Sven at least gives you that. Because right now, when you look at Mirana, Grimstroke, and what could maybe, be a tiny support, you don't see that, right? You see this lineup breaking very quickly when ninjas and pajamas run at them.
Yeah, the thing is, I still kind of feel like now with the Sven, right? Like Sven kind of struggles a lot facing like rupture and stuff. And I also think like Leicester naturally wants to build a halberd, and Sven does not really enjoy playing. I just feel like if you want to pick some hero that's good against Lifestealer, I think Sven is not usually the go to. Um, of course, the Sven he's gonna be able to farm quite fast, so he might try to eclipse them in terms of net worth, but it wouldn't be my first kind of go to against the Lifestealer. Like they still have nothing that pierces the rage, right? So
Yes. You
I.
you do at least dodge the rupture damage if you have Ags on Sven, right? So like maybe in that
Mhm.
regard, they're like, okay, that's not as much of a limiter in the later fights.
Yeah.
But obviously that still leaves the issue of how you get there right now. And maybe this tiny pops off in the mid lane because it's looking like it's going to be a mid tiny. Um, I don't know if you got anything that's going to be able to play up with that against Chen, Earth Spirit, and Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I'm curious here, but we're gonna see now Vikings' choice if it is gonna be a. I mean, most likely this has to be. I feel like a position for Mirana, and they mid tiny once more. And NIP now they're just looking for this one mid hero to go up against the tiny, and what that choice is, gonna see just in a few moments here. I think NIP actually have the last pick, do they not?
Yes. So they're just
Yeah.
waiting to see what Viking want. They want to see if this is going to be the tiny mid, basically. And I don't think Viking really have the ability to keep flexing it.
Yeah, and Viking they are gonna have to put. So it's gonna be a tiny mid. So what they need there, position 3 probably their hero against the lifestealer.
Hmm.
That is what they're going to get.
And most importantly, probably an aura builder, because right now they lack that. Some sort of frontliney aura builder, something akin to the likes of an Underlord. Um,
Yeah.
but then your
Oh.
Underlord against Lifestealer.
Yeah, that's a little bit awkward.
It's not as bad as it was, obviously, because you don't, take health away from them as you hit them anymore.
I'm not sure what this hero is. I was looking a little bit at like potentially some Pugna or something. It seems awkward as all. There's no real hero. Like there's nothing that I look at from Viking here that's like okay.
Okay,
Ember.
so
So
offlane Tiny? Or is it Mirana free?
yeah, I'm not sure. This is quite the curveball, I would say.
I mean,
Maybe they're
right
gonna
now, if
run
you're
the Mirana as the
Nip,
3 or something.
well, that's what I was wondering, right? But if you're Nip right now, if you're thinking mids, like you can find heroes that deal with Ember and Tiny equally well, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can. I think there are many ways to go about this for NIP. I feel like this last pick, they can just choose whatever hero, whatever mid hero they want. They can just take
Pudge.
it. That's well, maybe not. I mean, it's supposed to be a hero that's still good too, right?
Oh, okay, okay. Slark.
Probably not Slark.
You told me the good ones were good enough.
Probably more of a mid hero that lanes well against Tiny and Ember. There's something like a Necro potentially,
Or they just whip out
not
the
a very
Templar
common hero, or
Assassin.
they just throw out the TA. Yeah, that's fine too. Um,
Pretty good against the Sven as well, right? Like he doesn't have the means to get through those refractions.
yeah, I mean it does give them Roche, so That is one positive thing. The thing though is that now their lineup is very kind of like I feel like Lifestealer and Temple TA to some extent they kind of do similar things. They want to build similar items. Like both heroes kind of want to buy Deso and stuff. I'm expecting maybe Charlie just doesn't go Deso this game. He just goes Armlet into Halberd Basher or something like this. But yeah, I feel like they do sort of similar things, and they're also not. Neither team actually has amazing team fights here. They're just yeah. I mean, it's gonna be about the lane. We did see Supreme. He played this one matchup against. I was that where he played this TA and
He played it
it was against
against an
Khan,
Ember,
maybe?
I think, and he
He was against an Ember, and he just
completely beat the
completely
crap
yeah.
out of him.
Yeah, he really
His sideblade control was filthy.
mhm.
Like
I can't remember what
honestly,
team it was, but
I was almost like he was immune, right? It's almost like he was just moving the side blades to shift over to the side because I don't. I remember that game very fondly. Well, not fondly, very scarily because there was maybe one splash that he missed out of all splashes in the first two waves against the Ember.
yeah, no, he definitely knew what he was doing on the TA. However, this is gonna be a tiny Mirana lane against the Chen Lifestealer. I feel to me at least that seems pretty scary for the tiny Mirana, but
Mm.
we'll just see. Maybe they can make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, one's got bodyguards, the other has rage. It's going to be very hard to find that kind of arrow setup you're looking for. Well, let's see if they can pull it off. So, game number 2. NiP, they tweak some things, but they still stay true to the lifestealer. I feel like Viking are the ones that have really had to mix things up. Maybe part of that is the way they kind of got caught out. I want to say they seemed a little bit caught out in that first game when it came to like the early bans on both the IO and the Eng.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a little bit awkward for them to play without those heroes. I mean, that's kind of like the go-to that we've seen so many times on Celery. And now also just, I also think that there's just this idea that NiP have here with kind of just how Lifestealer just very easily plays against Tiny. And, we know that Viking, they really like playing this hero. And so this just becomes another thing in the draft where NiP kind of get ahead. Because I feel like picking this Lifestealer this early, like the scary thing is he gets to play against so many counters. But to be honest, like if I look at these heroes from Viking, like this was a second pick Lifestealer, right?
Mhm.
I actually don't really think that any of these heroes counter Lifestealer whatsoever. I would say that Lifestealer is actually pretty good against all 5 heroes of Vikings lineup. So I'm not really sure why it turned out this way, but we'll just have to see. The one thing is, like Mirana as a core can be decent against Lifestealer just because you can, you're a range hero that keeps harassing, and that's kind of annoying. But you're not really good against Lifestealer, I wouldn't say.
No, it feels like in this game there's going to be a lot of pressure on Aramis to deal with that life stealer, right? Because how are you hitting any of your stuns if there's not the initial like CC that comes out of a tiny with a blink dagger? I don't see it. There's always going to be that rage button getting hit, and then all of a sudden, just like last game, you're trying to run from the high hills from an inherently fast hero that's munching away at your health quickly.
Yeah, and Celery might be in trouble here. Probably just gonna go
See
down.
you later, nerds.
2 Saberlight there.
Healthy start. And this lane, like, do we feel like Sven's going to be able to have his own way, get his creeps easily, or do you feel maybe just because it's a melee hero versus a Bloodseeker that he's going to struggle a bit here?
I think that the Sven should be okay in this lane. It shouldn't be. I mean, he should be able to farm. I think they're both just kind of farm. The cool thing is Bloodseeker has a lot of armor, so he doesn't really care about the cleave that much. But he does have a lot of sustain, so it's kind of difficult to pressure him out. It's just a little bit awkward for the Earth Spirit to try to help out. I would not be surprised. Oh, I would not be surprised if the Earth Spirit here at some point just rotates mid. I think you could definitely
I'm watching
set up for
this
some kills
miss
there.
because you know how it worked last time on the first. Oh god.
Oh my. Supremus, he's
Dude,
scary
he
with those
feels
side
this
blades.
hero.
He
knows.
really does.
But Boom won't go down that easily. However, he did have to expend a lot of regen very far south. The whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, Supreme taking a bit of damage here, just from the.
Now returner.
But what a laning
my
stage!
God.
I mean, he's scary with those side blades.
I mean, this is
This
the
man.
scariest TA player I've seen in a while. Like, that's not to discredit the renowned ones, but you know, the matchups we've been watching recently where he's been picking TA, my lord, he looks scary.
Yeah, he's putting in work.
And it's kind of funny actually because I recently had him on my pub games. I thought his
Yeah.
Medusa was scary. Spoiler alert, he lost that game. But his TA is I think it ranks high. I think you go back a few months, I would have said like Medusa was kind of his signature hero, right? NiP liked to play that way because Charlie had these more aggressive carries, and then Medusa felt good. But
Right.
he's kind of adapted, right? With Heaven's Halberd being so popular, I feel like TA is one of few heroes that were kind of very dominant back then that somewhat survived this transition to Heaven Halberd spams.
Yeah, I mean, Tia can be okay. I think Tia also struggles quite a bit with halberds, but
It's the speed at
Dusa,
which
of
she
course,
gets
being...
active, though, right?
Yes, exactly. Dusa is a much lower hero. And yeah, Supreme just...
I've just been ignoring the other lanes. I click
Yeah,
down
I
and
mean,
I'll
I'm
come
also
back
just kind
again.
of watching this.
Yeah. You just have that, right? There's certain people they have heroes that you want to watch. Like imagine a Rise on Magnus, right? You just want to see what he's gonna do, even in the early laning phase.
I mean, the thing is like this, like in Dota generally, how it goes things is, like players know matchups, right? Like most people would say when it comes to this TA Ember matchups, probably they would say that maybe it's slightly TA favored. But when someone knows the matchup this well, then it kind of changes how the matchup is viewed, right? And I mean, Supreme is he's dominating this mid lane right now.
Yeah, I think the word is like it transcends, right?
Yeah,
And
it does exactly, and it turns it into something else. So
and the other variable you get, like the only other variable, like the big one that always comes into kind of shape is in the mid is when you get that hot new player that plays a lot more kind of cocky than seasoned veterans, right? So I think GPK is a perfect example of that. When he first came in, he was winning matchups he should lose because it's kind of like, when you play against someone that is better or worse than you, and you say you're a Kunk and you're trying to predict where your torrent's going to go, but then they do something completely different, right? It's that feeling of what you're used to. And it kind of reminds me of CSGO when like Stu was coming up, and he became very famous for this guy who would throw down smokes and then run through the smokes, which was
he
unheard
might
of
be
at
in
the time.
trouble here.
Saberlight's
He's
gone,
gonna be in a lot of trouble.
and boom,
The one red light, he can't get the right click.
he's even speed.
There's
If
the thing.
boom clicks the wrong place at all, he's dead. And Supreme now in trouble as Aramis does rotate in. He's bit off more than he can chew,
Yeah, and
unless he
Aramis,
kills
he's
Tiny.
just-
Nah, he's not. He's gonna. Maybe he might get it. He's gonna get it. Boom has sleight of fist. He needs to get closer. The refraction's coming off cooldown. Just about got it.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
he
almost
kinda,
a
like,
catastrophe.
he really kind of like did a lot of throwing in a sense in that mid lane. I think he was just so far ahead. Of course, in the end, Ember is still sitting some 500 gold behind the TA, but that's
It's a
definitely
start
gonna
for
help
him.
him a little bit. However, Aramis had to kind of abandon this top lane, and yeah, you can see that Charlie is just happily free farming up there.
I guess the bonus for Boom in this situation is you compare these two heroes, which one can do more with less, right? Like Ember's just a hero in the XP, and because he got that kill, that does chuck him along towards that level 6 so that he can get active.
Yeah, the one thing now though is there's a smoke here from Aramis. Supreme is just about to hit 6. He just needs one more creep. Question is, can they kill
There
this
it is.
TA?
He knew it was coming. Moves back up. Toss to bring him down. Avalanche. They don't have a point to Searing Chains though, so they'll just pressure him, and that'll have to do.
Yeah, this pressure is it's quite nice for Boom though. I mean, he was struggling a lot, and now he's kind of getting back into the lane.
Okay, that was an awkward moment for Celery. He thought he needed to save Shad there, so he threw the Inkswell onto the Sven. Little did he know they had no intention of harassing Vikings Boss 1.
Yeah, no, harassing the Sven is kind of difficult. However, we see here Saberlight is having a very great lane here, just sitting at the top. All three NiP heroes are top of the net worth.
Aramis brought down. Rotation quick from Era, and you can just see that immediately he trots back to bot, whereas when you think about where Viking have been sending this Tiny the last like minute and a half, it's back and forth around this mid area constantly. Ah, yes.
Yeah,
The moment we've been waiting for. You go Flame Guard build, a Chen finds a Purge creep.
Yeah, I mean, Boom is he's not having the most fun game of his life.
No. Could be worse, though. If he died in that jungle, that would have been kind of the nail in the coffin. We've seen what Supreme does once he starts getting solo kills in the mid lane. And it ain't pretty. Doing these stacks is pretty big, though. I wonder what the game plan is with Toby's Mirana in this game as well. I mean, you know, the simple lol answer is shoot arrow, hit arrow, right? But, like, what's your grand scheme? Like, how are you going to rotate early? Who's your target in these kind of, these ganks, these mid-game fights? Because a lot of these heroes are naturally protected against this hero.
Yeah, I don't really feel like there is a very clear purpose for this Mirana here. I mean, he's kind of stuck up in this top lane trying to lane against the lifestealer, but at this point, you pretty much hit like a kitten. You're also, it looks like he's going arcane boots, you know, maybe transition into some sort of Greaves build, but he is not going to be able to harass this this lifestealer. He's not going to be able to make him leave.
Aggression on the bot lane as they try and get Bloodseeker.
They are gonna kill Era at least, and Celery, of course, jacks the kill. And he's now getting cursed out by Shad.
And now Celery is in a lot of trouble because Saberlight is back, courtesy of Misha, and they're just zapping him down. And that allows Saberlight to move in to close out the kill. There we go, just boss fives doing what they do best, stealing kills.
I mean,
oh, they didn't even kill the creeps. Okay, they got the ghost.
Shad is very low. He's gonna have to port back space here.
Yeah, which will allow Bloodseeker to push in a little bit. No catapult to work with. They did get rid of one of those pesky small neutral creeps. I feel like when you're Chen right now, there's so much hidden potential in the small camp creeps right now. With the ghost slow, with the
there's also kind of nice. It's just a double. It's a triple stack, is it?
That is a double stack.
Double stack, yeah.
It's just randomly. I
don't
know why.
right?
They're humping each other for some reason.
Yeah.
This is how more ancients get created, by the way.
Right.
We'll just look away because that's not appropriate for Twitch. Oh, wait. No, we have to come back. Misha's dying. He's going to be brought down. Celery is also dying. However, he's able to move away. And Supreme's the one in trouble now as well. He has no way to protect himself. He'll get the kill. The slow's coming out to try and stop Boom, but he's able to close the gap with a Remnant, and Era is dead as well.
This is actually just making Boom's game so much better just now. You see he shot up the net worth there. He's almost even now with the TA, who had that monster start.
The Saberlight's looking a bit sad as we see the weakness of the Bloodseeker when no one's there to stun people for you.
Yeah, definitely one of the issues for this hero. That's why you see a lot of people buying Yules. But this item that Saberlight is buying, this is one that I really enjoy seeing on the Bloodseeker here, this Veil build. It looks very nice. Get to deal quite a bit of damage.
It works really well with the Earth Spirit as well, right? Like you have huge damage output once you just have level 6 on the Spirit at that point.
Yeah, definitely. And now the thing is, like, they're still quite far ahead, NiP, but now this Ember here, at least, he's gonna be able to do something with this game here after this. Getting this triple kill, this kind of just influx of gold.
Yeah, and he'll need to, because when you look at the state of the game, right? Shad is farming, but Sven, it's not this active hero. It's not looking to get too involved too quickly. You need to make space, and you're not going to get that out of Toby. He's sitting as the poorest of all the cores so far.
Yeah, I mean, he's just laning against the lifestealer, and there's not much you can do. You can't really harass him. He just doesn't really care. He's just gonna feast back up, and he just has way better attack speed and damage than you do. So.
Meanwhile, bot looking for someone to feast upon. Celery actually baited Saberlight in a little bit with the reinforcement of Aramis. They're looking to bring down the Bloodseeker. That's not enough, but with Boom arriving, it will be. With a DD on him, Saberlight trying to heal up. Hand of God to get him healthy. Aramis will die, but Saberlight knows that death is an inevitability here as he's unable to move away quick enough.
Yeah, and once again, another kill for Boom. I mean, however, though, even though he's getting some of these kills here, you see, like, Supreme he took out that Ancient stack. Now he's just farming the jungle, and he's gonna have his Desolator in just one more camp, and then that should be it. That is
and then there's... I was going to say, there's also the state of top, right? Like you mentioned, yeah, you're laying against the Lifestealer. The more important thing is because of Toby's build, he's barely able to do anything. Like he's constantly being forced to use leaps, which means there's no kind of quick movement around the map or playing up in the face of lifesteal. You're always really far back.
Yeah, and sort of one thing that I didn't really mention, I guess, that much is like this matchup between Sven and TA. It has always been very, very TA favored.
Hmm.
Just they both deal a lot of damage, right? But the thing is, Sven can't really break these refractions
No.
whatsoever. So man fighting the TA is never really an option, and
Oh,
TA's just overwhelming physical damage just makes it really difficult for Sven to play the game.
I think Boom's a tiny bit screwed here. I'll bring him
He
down.
does
So he gets the kill.
yes.
Actually, Sableye gets it. He gives it over. But yeah, also you can't even look forward to your dispo, right? Because you can't get rid of refraction at all. So you need a hero that's going to burn all his refraction charges. And when I look at Viking, I mean, I guess you could say Avalanche. That's like your primary.
Yeah, I mean they have like I think the Inkswell does a good job of it. I think the Tiny is okay, and the Ember of course. So they have ways of breaking the refraction. It's just I mean once you get to BKB on this TA, there's just nothing. What do you do as Viking? You just no
That's
matter
true.
what you do, the TA is coming at you, and yeah.
And you'll be a giant slap on the floor, just getting two tapped by him. And to be honest, this isn't the type of game where I think we'll see, like, if this does go late, I don't think you can rely on that either, because you'll probably see not only the BKB, but the refraction instances. Oh, mid lane. Error. Trying to waddle away. Will not be successful. That was the God Strength to get the kill, though.
Yeah, and while the matchup generally is not good for Sven, at least the one kind of upside in this game for Viking is the fact that Shad is farming same as the last game. However, maybe this game he can kind of try to make something more happen with this farm.
Well, I think the big comparison here is he's pressed his ultimate a lot more in this game.
That is true, actually. That is definitely true. He's already used it infinitely more times than the last game.
Infinite. That's a powerful choice of words, but true.
Mm-hmm.
Toby?
Toby might be in trouble here.
Roll
There's gonna be
in. Got him.
Yep. It's okay. He had the 0.2 seconds left, so it wasn't even close.
I mean, yeah, it's safety, right? Because now you're just dead all this time. It allows you to get those leap charges back. You don't have to worry about a life stealer coming in and just forcing you to leap again. You do have to worry about a TA taking Roche, though.
Winning the click war versus that Ember, yeah, and with that DD, they're just gonna go straight into it. They are gonna get scanned out, but the question is,
What do you do?
can you actually do?
No, I don't see anything that's that scary in the pit. Maybe you could try and yoink with your Ember, but that's about it. And I don't think he wants to. He's going for a Spirit Vessel build on the Ember Spirit, by the way.
Yeah, and,
Interesting.
I mean, this man and his TA.
Spooky boy.
It does make sense.
Almost has his Blink Dagger complete as well, so the aggression will start to ramp up. TA is just one of those heroes, right? Like the time on you taking that Aegis is usually at a point where you have the Blink, you have the Deso. So not only is it just useless first Aegis that doesn't matter that much, you can get a lot of buildings and a lot of kills out of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's very close now to this Blink Dagger. Finish. Tiny's gonna be fine. Yeah, he's gonna finish probably this Ancients, and then he needs some regen, but...
Oh. Toby. Defensive Moonlight Shadow. Turns out his defense is not very strong as they do bring him down, and they'll just back away for the moment.
Yeah, and you were asking about kind of what's the purpose of this Mirana, and I think he's also asking himself what's the purpose of this. I mean, you can see that there's no real way for him to kind of participate in this game. Sitting in this top lane, kind of just laning against the lifestealer has not really paid off that much. The lifestealer has been free farming, and the Mirana's kind of suffering, and yeah, still he's just trying to figure out a way to be useful in this game, but it's not that easy.
And you can see how confident NiP feel, though, right? Like, you saw that drawing on the map of where they want to play, right? Where they control. It was just basically a toilet seat. Like, the only part which they... I'll draw for you again. This was it. This is the only part they didn't feel safe in, is, like, around the mid and, obviously, Radiant base. Everywhere else belongs to them.
Yeah, and it's pretty much the case now. It's just... Viking they don't really have the spells right now to be able to fight against NiP. With the Aegis on the TA and the fact that Lifestealer just has Rage, there's already two targets that you can't really deal with, and so they just have to concede as much of the map that NiP want.
At what point are the concessions gone too far, though? They're going to lose their kitty cat lady, and they might lose more if they're not careful. They might be baiting themselves in onto Charlie here. I don't know if this is the kill. He's holding on to the rage to the maximum. That's just a waste of a Spirit Vessel charge. Reinforcements coming in, try and bring him down. They do get the kill. The Hand of God was not quick enough or good enough. Trying to move away. Soulbind on the back line to stop the reinforcements from coming in, but they are moving in. Bloodseeker looking for a kill. Stun comes out with the Inkswell, and the God Strength is enough to try to run down and kill off another. 2 down the side of NiP. Gonna make it 3. Saberlight able to move away. The Aegis has been taken away now. The silence lasts long enough, but the Avalanche toss is there to ensure they get Supreme instantly when he comes back up.
Yeah, and a very, very important fight there for Viking. I didn't even see what happened. How did Charlie actually die there?
He didn't want to use Rage. You know how they are.
Okay.
Because he got hit. Yeah, it's kind of peculiar. Like, I feel like you just Rage and run away, right? Because your team... You can see them wrapping around, but they're still like 10 seconds out, and you have to be questioning where your opponents are.
Yeah, I just didn't see what did he die? Like, how did he not get
It was
rage
the
off?
Avalanche toss.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get tossed first, then sure you can't rage, but you can rage through Avalanche.
But that was the thing. They toss Avid, and they've used the Spirit Vessel on, right? So it's like half HP. And now Celery going down in response. But yeah, it did look really wonky. Like, I imagine the case was... I mean, you know, you've been there as a carrier, right? Like, if you're a lifesteal and someone's Spirit Vessels you, do you just kind of go, okay? You just don't care, right?
I don't know. I feel like you would... I mean, you would suspect something, right? Like, why would they just throw out a casual? So
That's true. Like, it did feel a little bit like Charlie was just being cocky. Like, yeah, not a care in the world. I'm a lifesteal, dude.
It does sound a little bit strange, but anyways, they do manage to find a kill. Yeah, probably a mistake on Charlie's behalf there, and this is gonna be now this BKB on Sven, and yeah, he's having one hell of a game, and once more.
Well, he'll rage this time.
If Shad just had stunned there, Charlie was dead once more. And...
I'll heal him up. Spirit Vessel's on him once more. He doesn't have that rage for 10 seconds. They're trying to burn through him. Supreme the DD scares everyone away, though. Boom
yeah, and also you can see there, Shad didn't want to go in because he didn't have God Strength.
Oh.
So he doesn't want to commit there.
He has got it now, though, so if they get a little bit too greedy on sudden inches of Pyjamas, you might see a bite back from Viking. Roll in, off the mark. Blood Right made it way too obvious. 2 boom. Oh, look at that, Toby.
He's going to get the bottom tower.
We figured it out. We realized what he's going to do now, Pajkatt. He's a split pusher.
That's the purpose of this Mirana, right? The arcane boots, kitten hitting hero is meant to push towers.
Because, you know, when I see giant, weird, concrete-ish buildings, I say, you don't want to be effective against those? Kitty claws and arrows.
Yes. Classic.
Oh, top. They've ruined up Supreme. He has no way to protect himself right now. The Fracture's still on cooldown. They'll bring down the Tiny, but he's forced to fight up against the Ember, and he loses that one. Saberlight trying to run away. This Spirit Vessel from Boom doing so much work. The arrow does connect, and there you go. He's done hitting buildings. He wants to be involved in kills now. On the other side, Misha's going to also be found as Celery's just right-clicking him down. The assistance of Boom comes in and closes another kill in favor of Viking.
Yeah, and all of this, I think, kind of is just... it's the fact, like... It's kind of what Charlie has done, right? Like, he goes top and he gets really low, and like once again to this Tiny. I think they could have had the kill if Shad had just chose to stun there, the lifestealer, because he was in the air, but Charlie, and then he's forced to port bottom because he's low, and now that he's bottom, you know, there's just initiation onto the TA, and all of a sudden he can't participate in that fight no longer.
It's a weird one as well, right? Like, at first, you see them come back up after losing that fight, and you can kind of go, oh, yeah, they're playing with confidence, as you can already see Supreme's doing that again to bring down Celery. But it's almost like it's false confidence, right, at that stage. Like, you haven't respected the fact that you fed over 2,000-3,000 gold in that last fight, you lost the Aegis, and this Sven is actually a real threat now.
Yeah, definitely is. He's becoming quite the hero here. Already queued up that AC. I mean, you can look at his net worth, right? This Sven, he's quite far ahead of both the lifestealer now and the TA. And TA's item progression has been halted quite a bit.
Yeah, he desperately needs a BKB. Like, I'm not even sure if you can directly take these fights right now until you got BKB. We saw how effective this Spirit Vessel with the Flame Guard is against the TA. That was one of our big questions, right? It's like, what do you do once the TA has BKB? It looks like Viking, the way they're kind of playing this mid-game, they don't want to even get to that stage. They're going to move in again. Moonlight Shadow. They will find the big target. Toss it in the air, trying to bring him down, but he managed to get away in time. However, Chen won't be so lucky.
Yeah, they tried to go there for the TA. I think he just managed to just blink out anyways, though. He didn't take damage in time, and so
Oh, however, Arrow connects on Arrow. They'll find him. They're chasing forward, but the Yule's onto this Bloodseeker. He has nowhere to run or hide either as the toss comes through. The Inkswell follow-up will ensure that they're going to lose more heroes. And with it, probably more buildings.
yeah, now this Sven is he's a very scary hero right now. Like the TA is still struggling to try to get this BKB after this amazing start. And also Charlie he's not really participating in the game, and I'm not really sure why. I feel like they could still kind of group up and play around this lifesteal TA, but
This
yeah,
is the
they're just giving
scary
up
part,
a
though,
lot of the
right?
map.
About how Vi can play. Like,
It is very very scary. Once they get the ball rolling,
they don't
they
stop.
just don't stop. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's like NiP is giving too much credit to that, right? Like they're looking, they're going, well, there's no stopping this momentum. We just need to like get a power spike of our own and play around it. But maybe there's just missing opportunities in that. I think it comes back to what you were saying earlier, that there's back-to-back moments from Charlie really kind of crippled them. So now they're possibly feeling over defensive about the current state of the game.
Yeah, I mean they were like, I think they're kind of just at the point where I mean maybe Supremus said or someone's he's just like I just need to get my BKB before we keep fighting, and then you're kind of just waiting for this TA to farm a BKB or something. But I feel like Charlie should be playing more with his team than he is. I think it's kind of hurting them quite a bit here that they're not able to kind of play together.
Ooh. I think Aaron may have baited himself a little bit. And with it, he's probably going to die. The arrow did get off before the silence came out. And Charlie's like, okay, I don't know what that's about. I'm just here to hit creeps. See ya.
Yeah, and despite having this like really rough kind of laning stage, now Boom has completely recovered, and yeah, I mean he's 11 and 1. He's queued up the Shivas. He's ahead of the TA in levels and almost even on net worth too. So solid
Even
performance from
Toby's
Boom.
started to be involved as well, right? Like we're seeing how simple that combo can be, the Searing Chains, the arrows. It does pose a question of if you need it to be a core Mirana, but the Guardian Greaves are pretty handy at this stage in the game.
I think it's more so because they didn't want the Tiny to be in this awkward role, and they're gonna find Supreme once again. And I don't know. I'm feeling like this is starting to get really out of hand for NiP now. I think
I mean,
Sven is just
they're not
too
done.
far ahead now.
They're going for more. Saberlight's been tossed back. He's in a lot of trouble as well throughout the rupture, but they'll just throw out stun back and forth, getting him low. The bat through from Error to try and slow down the pursuit, but Boom's already on top of him, and this is getting out of control. And NiP, like, where's your comeback? Where's your comeuppance? Because look at Charlie right now. He's still bot. The Moonlight Shadow has been used. They're pinging him out. This is not a safe area for the lifesteal. He does at least have the TP, and he can use it.
Yeah, they're gonna at least force him out of this area. I mean, he does get out, but yeah, I feel like they could have maybe just transitioned that into starting to hit this mid tower. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to look very difficult now for NiP. They just can't fight back. This Sven is just too big. And
How critical is it that like NiP don't let Viking get this Aegis? Because they're losing control of the game quick, right? And Supreme's net worth has completely fallen off compared to how it was.
yeah, I think they themselves kind of need this Roche, this Aegis on the TA to be able to continue this game. But
Yeah, they need the
once more.
Aegis, not another death on him first. Supreme's down, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be Roche in the favor of Viking.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I feel like this is yeah, very difficult now for
Does it feel weird
NiP
that,
to
that
just
NiP are
play.
playing into this top area like that, by the way? Because I feel like Viking have had this locked down, right? You got to anticipate they have vision in this area.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to find places to go out on the map, and they're just, they're trying to be a little bit split up and get the most of it, right? He was just like that one creep away from his BKB. Now, though, I think that there's just, I don't know, there's very little you can do, right? At this point, your lineup is not really designed to play from behind. This lineup very much is just kind of should be centered around, playing together and just going around taking objectives after this TA and Lifestealer get off to this whatever start they want. And now it's just it's very awkward to play a lineup like this from this far behind.
Yeah, it's really quickly turned into one of those awkward games. You know, the ones where you look and all you keep seeing is the dire pos one in the bot lane. and there's never any like play being made elsewhere on the map. It just feels like once you get that stage, you can see that the team is really just trying to buy as much time as possible. And the question
Yeah, I mean,
just remains for who.
yeah, I mean the thing is like you look at like what kind of wave clear does NiP actually have, right? It's very very limited. It's just like this blood right. Yeah, he did take the damage talent on the blood right, so it is dealing a little bit more damage, but it's still, you know, it's not much.
And yeah, it kind of feels like Charlie, because he's behind now, he feels pressure to hit creeps even more because, you know, he's always items behind, right? He didn't go for this farming focused build. He went for this I want to fight early type build. This is the risk that it can just backfire so quickly.
Yeah, the one thing now for him at least is that he is gonna have this AC with the Paladin sword, so...
Rupture play. Moonlight Shadow, though. Boom just confidently goes in. Soulbind links them together. Life still in a bit of trouble. They're going to try and reflect the stun out. Sven is disarmed as well, but soon he will be unleashed like a beast. They already got rid of the Chen. They're trying to bring Charlie down. He just doesn't have the sustain to stay alive. Has to invest inside the Bloodseeker, who's trying to escape. The Blood Right to try and cover him. Buyback comes out with the Hand of God. The bomb out onto Boom, but he doesn't care. He moves away. They bait Charlie into a fight that he should not be taking and bring him down. And Saberlight just trying to escape here, but the Yules is going to be there to interrupt his TP, and he will also fall. As Ninjas and Pyjamas have no hope in hell of fighting up against this Chad Sven.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he has become the name. I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. No, that was Oppenheimer, wasn't it?
It's okay. You made more of an effort than me.
Nah, the Sven he's starting to look like an atom bomb, though, I would say.
I'm right. Chad's ready to blow the whole shack down as they're going to move in. Boom is trying to hunt for Misha because that is the dieback opportunity if they find that Chen. As you can see, Misha's like, wide berth, boys. That building is not long for this world.
Yeah, I mean, the Chen is not going to do that much when it comes to defending his buildings. And yeah, I mean, this is... Yeah, pretty much just starting to look like a wrap, I would want to say. I mean... There's very little now I think that NiP can do. I'm a little bit curious here about this Lotus Orb choice on the Bloodseeker. It does give a little bit of armor. Maybe another Halberd would have been better. I'm not sure. I mean, the thing is like this. At this point, they're just too far behind, I think, and that's why no matter what they do.
I think they're gonna lose more.
Yeah.
So there's that fight we're waiting for, the do or die moment, as they're gonna bring Saberlight low. They're linked together. No easy escape. Even though he moves fast, we'll be able to move off. And Shad needs to be careful himself. He's still got the second life to work with, though. And they've had to expend the Rupture on this. It doesn't feel good if you're NiP. Aramis goes in, look for the toss back play, but doesn't connect with it. Has the Ghost Scepter to protect himself. Roland gets blocked as Shad gets stunned up. The BKB gets activated. God Strength ready to turn around. Jumps in like He-Man, ready to save the universe, or destroy it in this case, as he brings down Supreme. And they'll just run him through and clean him up. Charlie looking a bit helpless on the side, not really sure what he can do. A disarm is thrown onto Shad. Does last a while. He chases in with a rage. He knows he has to fight, but they've already lost another one. Boom with a double kill. And Charlie now in a little bit of trouble. Has to run away with that rage, but the toss back. Aramis says, where the hell are you going? Jump in with the stun from Sven. They lock him on the spot. The Blood Right is good. Saberlight is whittling away at them very slowly. They keep Charlie alive, but for what at this point? You still cannot put a dent in Viking.
Yeah, I mean, a very nice kind of reflection there with the Lotus Orb onto the Sven stun, pretty much stunning up the whole team. But it's just not enough. Charlie can't deal enough damage. You know, he tried his best, but you just can't really compete with the Sven in terms of damage at this point. I mean, you also look at the net worth, right? He's some 8-9k ahead.
And it's also, we get a preview into how reliant they are on Supreme as well, right? Like, Charlie was tickling. And, I mean, if he's tickling, Saberlight's damage was someone blowing in your direction from about 5 feet away. Arrow through? Oh, no. Saberlight, it connects. Hand of God, they're trying to waste as much time as possible. The Stomp comes out. Charlie has arrived in the fight, but who's your target? They go for Toby. Avalanche toss comes through from Aris, though. They get them low. Charlie is also low, needs to start sustaining. And Toby just stands his ground. He's willing to fight. He's got the Solar Crest to work with. They're going to root him up. Stun from Sven is good enough, and Toby will live to fight another day. But Ninja and Pyjamas are not so lucky, as it's looking nigh on over. Supreme, if he goes down here, they might just tap out, and the BKB is not enough to protect him as the GG comes out. The series finishes 1-1. Viking, oh man, they do it decisive. Past that laning phase, past that moment where NiP loses 1 or 2 fights, you could just feel Sven cruising through to that victory.
Yeah, I think it all kind of started with that moment where Charlie was kind of snoozing on the range button. I mean, like I said, I didn't actually see him die looking something else. But yeah, he goes down. There was another skirmish going on at that point. But yeah, he goes down, and after that, they kind of just collapsed, and they never really recovered. I think they had chances to, but the Viking kind of just kept running at him, and it worked.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
we
like this
said
was
that's what Viking does well, right? That's the style. Like if you give them a little bit, they'll take a lot. And I do kind of wonder if Nip respected that element too much, right? Like you highlighted it with Charlie and these kind of movements towards the bot lane, especially not participating in the fights. It was almost like they identified that Viking was snowballing and were going out of their way to just give secessions, right? Just avoid fights time and time again.
yeah. I'm not really sure kind of what the thought process was behind their decision there to not kind of incorporate the lifestealer into more into the game, but yeah, he didn't really feel the impact from this lifestealer in this game at all. I feel like they had this game not completely sealed, but I very much feel like they had it in their hands, and they were in a very good position, but they kind of just threw it away.
Yeah, like it just seemed like a moment of you getting too cocky, kid, and as a result, it goes bad. I mean, amazing performance from Supreme early on, but once again, we got to see how TA can kind of patter off very quickly, lose one or two fights, and I feel like there's a lot of similarities with all of NiP's cores in that regard, right? Like you look at all of these cores, if they lose 2, 3 fights, they start to fall behind a little bit. Confidence in the boys in pajamas is lost at that point, and you have to favor the godliness of a Sven in that late game situation, which gives us a final score of 1-1 apiece. We have a draw here. But these are best of twos, so it'll stay that way. The scores will move forward, and we'll move forward with our next match because up next we have got a nice little CIS bout. Khan versus Team Unique. Let's see who's going to be able to take that one after a short break back here on this channel.